Okay, great. So, okay. Wait, I'm going to turn this off. Wait, hold on. Stop record. Okay. Hello and welcome to Streetwise Radio. I'm Shelah Moody. In honor of International Women's History Month, I'm proud to feature three outstanding musicians who tour and perform with Delfeayo Marsalis and the Uptown Jazz Orchestra. They are Tonya Boyd Cannon, who you may know from The Voice, vocals, and Tran, saxophone, and Shaena Ryan, baritone sax. They recently performed a sold-out show with Delfeayo and the Uptown Jazz Orchestra at Yoshi's in San Francisco. Welcome, ladies.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for being here. Happy International Women's Month.
Woo.
Yeah, Women's History Month. All right. And you ladies, as I said before I turned on the recorder, I was absolutely in awe watching you on stage at Yoshi's with the Uptown Jazz Orchestra and actually seeing women on the forefront in jazz. That's incredible. So I give all of you a hand for that. Incredible.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So I'm going to ask each of you, starting with An, because I know she has to jump off soon. But first of all, An, how did you hook up with the Uptown Jazz Orchestra and come to join the band?
Well, I actually asked Mr. Delfeayo Marsalis that question, and he said the reason why he hooked me up with the gig is because two of the band member couldn't make it to the gig, and so he was just like, well, let's call the kids. And because we're students and we're cheaper. So he was like, yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, so you're a student, so you must be the youngest member, correct?
Yeah, I am the youngest.
Right, great.
Yeah.
And Shaena, I first saw you at the Davis show with the Uptown Jazz Orchestra. How did you connect with the band?
Well, I went to North Carolina Central University, and his brother, Branford Marsalis, teaches there. And so a few years ago, Branford recommended me to Delfeayo to work on the Such Sweet Thunder tour. Mm-hmm. And so that's how I ended up meeting him and then keeping in touch. And
Okay, great. And Tonya, I know you were on the Jazz Party recording. That's Delfeayo's latest work. How did you connect with the band?
I've been working with Delfeayo. I've lost track. Harpo and I call him Harpo.
Harpo.
Harpo and I have been working together for over 5-6 years. We met at a life celebration of Mama D, a well-known matriarch of our city, advocate for what's right for the people of New Orleans. And I was performing a song for her tribute. And I thought the organist would show up and be prepared to play Like a Bridge Over Troubled Water, but they weren't there. So I ended up having to play for myself. And he was actually playing at the life celebration as well. And we've been connected since.
Okay, that's wonderful. And may I ask how the nickname Harpo came about?
So, of course, everyone is seeing Color Purple and they look at Harpo, the line, Harpo, who this woman? So I don't know what happened. One day here in the city, I was just doing something and I just started calling people Harpo. So we were on a show one night and he said something to me. I was like, hold up, Harpo. What we're not about to do is this. And I've been calling him Harpo because he'll call me, hey, Harpo, where you at? So we call each other Harpo ever since. And it's a turn of endearment, of love. So you really touched my heart for me to call you some type of pet name.
Yeah. If you go to New Orleans and you'll get a nickname.
Absolutely. You're Teedy right now. So you're Teedy Shelah.
Teedy?
You're Teedy. Teedy. Now instead of saying auntie or auntie, we say Teedy. You're my Teedy.
Oh, bless you, Teedy. I might start an Instagram account, Teedy.
There we go.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so and Anne could be the first one to answer this. What's Delfeayo like as a band leader?
Good question. I think he is very strict. he like perfectness. He reminds me a lot about my father. He's very rough on students like me. I mean, it's a really good thing for me and for other students and people to learn. But yeah, he's tough. But
And
he's
I'm
funny. He's
and
really funny.
your father is a jazz musician, correct?
Yes, he
Yes.
is.
Oh, great, great. So you come, but it's in the genes. What and
Yeah.
Shaena, how is he as a band leader?
I can agree with An. He is kind of rough, but I really like the stuff he picks for us to play. Like I find that it's all just really interesting and creatively written. And it's a lot of, I find the whole process to be mostly a lot of fun.
Mhm. Great, great. And last but not least, Tonya, how is Harpo?
I agree with both An and Shaena with working with Delfeayo. It's always a learning lesson. He's very challenging. He has a tendency to challenge you as an artist, as a musician, in learning and building, not just learning the material for the concert, but building your repertoire. He has a tendency of like texting me, say, check out this tune. Man, that's bad. That's bad. Look, it ain't jive. It's one of them. And so he has a tendency to pick those songs that are very meticulously written to be challenging. So it comes with a lesson and a blessing. So you're blessed to know this tune and to be able to sing it, because Around Midnight was one I would never sing, ever sing, because of the triads and being able to land those triads and he's always like, look, you need to land this. And I found myself in rehearsal, just making sure I hit those notes perfectly, as An said, because he'll come back and say this. I will also say that he's one that it's also, he doesn't take well to challenges. So if I say, nah, we're not doing this way, it's like, man, that, and he'll give a little pushback, but then he turns around and say, you know what, let's do it your way. So it's a give and take. It's a lesson learned every time we play, no matter the venue. And it's so rewarding because at the end of the day, you've built your repertoire, but you've also earned his trust and belief in you as an artist or musician.
Great. And to hear Tonya's version of Around Midnight with the Uptown Jazz Orchestra, check the link in the description box. It is really fire. It was just perfection. Her version of Thelonious Monk's Around Midnight. Okay, starting with An, tell us where all of you are from and how you got started in jazz.
I was born and I grew up in Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, which is like 4 hours away from here. And my dad is a jazz musician. He was the first Vietnamese who got scholarship to go to Berklee College of Music. And so he made me learn the piano when I was 4. But then I was like, no, I don't like it. And like, I cry every single time my teacher comes to my house. And so I try out different type of arts like dancing and singing or like musical theater. But then I didn't like all of that until I turned 9. When my parents were away in Europe, and then I saw my dad's saxophone on the shelf, I was like, maybe I should try that. And then I have an older brother, and he plays the sax, and he taught me how to play saxophone. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, I love it. And so I learned saxophone for like a few weeks, and then I showed my dad when he came back from work, and he didn't really like it at first. He said it's not a very feminine instrument to play. And so I was like, no, it's not. Well, I like it. what can you do with it? I like it. And myself, I'm a very I don't know the word, but like I really like to try out new things and things that like I don't see other people do. And like until right now, at this point in Vietnam, there's not a lot of females saxophone player. And I would probably say I'm one of the only one who plays the saxophone, and especially jazz in Vietnam. And yeah, since then I was like, yeah, this is my best friend. So since then, saxophone has been my best friend. And I started to learn more about jazz when I come to the States, when I got a scholarship to go to Iowa Arts. And that's when I like really fell in love with jazz and really dig into it.
Okay, great. Thank you, An. And Shaena, now after your performance in Davis, you played a solo, and an older gentleman who passed me said, wow, there was a girl on the sax and she's tiny. And I thought that was so cool. Yeah. So tell us where you're from and how you got into jazz and the saxophone.
I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia, and growing up, my parents listened to a lot of music, so I've always been interested in it. Like I had like a little toy keyboard, and I would just figure out how to play different things on it when I was like really little. And I played clarinet in the school band for a while. When I got to college, I wanted to be in the jazz ensemble, and to do that you had to play saxophone. So that's when I started playing saxophone.
Okay, and what do you think, piggybacking on what An said, did you ever get any challenges about people thinking with the stereotype that the sax isn't feminine?
I've never had anyone say that directly to me, but I've heard when I was in grad school, one of the people were saying, some people were talking about like, that's kind of like a manly instrument and things like that. But, you know, I think people just kind of associate with me with it now.
Yes, yeah, that's wonderful.
Or with baritone in particular.
Yes, the baritone, the big boy.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And now Tonya, from The Voice, as a singer, you're really renowned, and Jennifer Holliday and Kelly Price are following you. So that is awesome. So where are you from? How did you get started singing and into jazz?
I'm originally from Jackson, Mississippi. I've been in New Orleans since I was a little girl, 11 years old. And my upbringing of my roots come from the church, being a preacher's kid, and having that connection of soul, gospel, jazz, fusion to create this beautiful sound and melodies of music. It's always been in my bloodline. Fun fact, I actually played saxophone in middle school and high school.
Oh, wow.
And I put it down when I went to college. And we talked about this in the green room, like, what is it? Careless Whisper has been one of my favorite songs.
Wow.
I love and so I've always loved the saxophone because I feel that as you know, from a masculine perspective of it being exactly a masculine perspective, being that it was too masculine for women. I thought it was sexy for women. I thought seeing a woman play a saxophone just like a woman playing a bass, I think it's the most sexiest thing ever, because that woman has taken something that the world has, you know, labeled or to only be specifically for men. And we've shown that we are women, hear us roar. We are women, hear us play. We are women, watch us move. And so I feel that with music, that's what I love to do, no matter the song, because I'm a contralto. So my range is often in your soprano, somewhere in your tenors, almost baritone. And so I feel that because jazz is so meticulously stated that it has to be this way, because we bring our own inflections and skills to what we do at Delfeayo, it makes us more than just a jazz orchestra. It makes us just a pool of musicians creating these melodies that the world continue to talk about.
Right, and I think that's what made the Oakland Yoshi so special. I see Witten's band, I don't see any women. And Branford's band, I never see any women, but what Delfeayo brought it's just like, hey, it's soulful, and there's a feminine, as Ann said, sexy touch to it too.
Absolutely.
So it was everything. So that goes to show you that in creation, we need a balance of both the masculine and the feminine energies.
Ashe, Ashe.
Yes, I say. So Tonya, you performed on Delfeayo's latest album, Jazz Party. What are name some of the other famous artists that you worked with?
Oh my gosh. First, I always have to give a shout out to the woman who really inspired me to do soul music, Miss Jean Knight. Don't mess with my tutu, Mr. Big Stuff herself.
Yeah.
She's from New Orleans.
Oh, she's from New Orleans.
And Miss Jean, I sat in the studio with her recording her last album before she, walked into retirement, Queen. And it's just that album alone. It was the one particular song called I Know My Man. I don't know why this song continues to stick with me, because it's a soulful tune that has those roots of blues and R&B to create this soul world of sound. So I've worked with Jean Knight, Marva Wright, Alan Toussaint, Kelly Price. Of course, I haven't worked with Aunt Billie Holiday yet, but that's always in the plan. I work with Pharrell, Adam Levine, Blake Shelton, Christina Aguilera, and some greater legends in this city that have inspired me. George French. I'm sorry, George French, who continues to play that bass like it's nobody's business. Gerald French, David Torkanowski, Delfeayo Marsalis, Bradford Marsalis. I haven't worked with Wynton yet, but the list goes on and on. And of course, these beautiful, talented women here, Ann and Shaena, who continues to, take that reed and that mouthpiece and blow your mind.
Right. Oh, yeah. Definitely blow your mind is right. It's incredible. And okay, so speaking of blowing your mind, Ann, what challenges have you talked about? Some of the challenges earlier you faced as a female in jazz. Talk about more challenges, and what do you think is the key to creating equity for women in jazz in 2022?
First of all, I want to fix something. I think we should blow their mind.
Yes. Yes.
I think as a woman myself, honestly, we have to work a lot harder, because most of the time we are being compared to men, and we have to change that. because I have this conversation with the musicians in the band in the green room when I was on tour, and I honestly think it's a very interesting topic and like something that we need to do together to change. That is, when I'm on stage, I don't want people to think of me as like she's 17 and she's a woman, so like she's cute,
Right.
I just want to be an artist. I just want to be a saxophone player. I don't want to be called like, a female saxophone player, a high school female saxophone player. And and I just think that is something that all of us women, all of us artists, musicians, people who love arts, and just women in general are trying to do every day to change, to make move and to empower people, to encourage our other women to step up and speak for ourselves and more. Yeah.
Great. And thank you. And Ann got a standing ovation at Yoshi's. And she had you had your own like fan club around. So I know people are taking you seriously in the world. And what about Miss Shaena, the sexy sax player from North Carolina?
Well, I think a lot of getting more women involved in jazz and more empowered is to start earlier on, because by the time you get to high school and college, like it's just men. So maybe getting younger kids interested in jazz and sort of teaching girls that that's something that they can do too. And I think, us being representatives of like, yeah, this is doable. It doesn't matter how tall or small or whatever, like if you want to do it, you can do it. I think the visibility will help create more jazz artists who are women, because they see someone else doing it and they're like, oh, I guess I can do that too.
Great. And you have a muse hanging over your head right now, Mr. John
Yeah.
Coltrane. As a baritone, what does John Coltrane mean to you?
I guess I listen to a lot of Coltrane. I actually work on more Coltrane stuff on tenor. For baritone, I really like Leo Parker, and a lot of people don't know who he is. So I think he was like a really important bebop baritone saxophone player, and I think he gets overlooked, and a lot of that stuff is really, really killing. So Branford Marsalis actually introduced me to him.
Oh wow!
And said, learn this.
Okay. Yeah, when the maestro speaks, you listen, right? That's awesome. And Tonya, what are some of the challenges that you face as a woman in jazz, and how could we create equity for women in the field?
I feel the first thing majorly is to tear down that scrutiny of women being labeled as a female, pit bull in the skirt, because we mean business, right? If a man does something that we do, they hurrah and it's cheers. If we do it, it's she's a B and she had to do this to get that, and it's like, nah, I just know what I want, and I'm gonna stand for what I want. Don't take with nickels. Don't allow anyone to belittle your character or change your character to fit their mold of who they feel we should be. Anit said something about that label of being a female or being called a female jazz saxophonist or this. I'm teaching music theory now to my pre-K through fourth grade, and we're starting with, learning the staff and learning whole notes, half notes, and the note names. And so I'm writing, every good B does fine. And so one of my kids goes, every good boy. I was like, well, what about the girls? And then there's a YouTube video clip of this group that does a beautiful rendition of teaching that theory. And one of the instruments is the instruments are like male and female. And it goes, every good boy. She goes, and girl does fine. And so I changed that narrative at the school. It says every good being does fine. Instead of just being a boy or a girl, every good being. Because of the times that we're in, right?
Right.
And so it's that we, as women, have paved the way for so many. We're the only species that give birth to these human beings that are here, right? So we've always been human beings, but we've also been human doing. So we've been doing this for the longest. So now it's time for us to assume our position as women and just continue to do it boldly without having to ask, or say, I apologize for saying this, but I'm gonna say it, or I'm sorry, but I gotta say, nah, we don't have to apologize anymore. I am woman, hear me roar. If you don't like the roar, move on. But we've created the rooms and created the tables that many men have sat at or many men have walked in. And so now it's our time to stand in our own room and take our place as women and to continue to do it boldly.
Ashe, brilliantly said, Tonya. Thank you. And last question, starting with tell us about your current projects and where we could find your music.
I'm actually very busy with school right now, so I don't have any major projects, but I am working on my songwriting recital, which will include some of my kind of jazzy compositions and songs. It's gonna be on April 16, and I will post the link to the concert on my Instagram at Antransax, ANTRANSAX. Yeah.
Okay, great. And looking forward to that. And I'll post it in the link too with this interview. And Ms. Shaena, what projects are you working on? Where could we find your music? Yeah.
I've been trying to work on, when I have time, composing more originals so that I can do sort of a showcase show at some point in the near future. I also do like a lot of arranging work, and I have a lot of clips on YouTube. If you just type in like Shaena Ryan or Shaena Ryan Martin saxophone, and I don't post much on Instagram, but there are a couple of clips of me playing. And in my Instagram handle is Barry's Girl, BARISGIRL.
Barry's Girl, awesome. Okay, I'll drop that in the description too. Thanks, and Miss Tonya. What I see.
I fussed at Shaena. I'm sorry, because I'm like, Shaena, post it on Instagram. She's like, I don't really post. It was a van ride joke. I
post more on Instagram, Shaena.
Yeah,
I agree with Tonya.
My social media is at Tonya Boyd Cannon. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's actually my name, Tonya Boyd Cannon.
Yes, I like that. Did you do that? Did you do that art?
One of the well-known artists who paints the title flyers of posters for Jazz Fest and French Quarter, she did that for me. So I had during the pandemic, doing all the virtual concerts, she painted my name for me. So it's a way to get tips and things of that nature, virtual tips.
Oh, okay.
So I posted it on my wall. Yeah,
that is so cool.
Thank you. But at Tonya Boyd Cannon, I post everything. Everything dealing with music, everything dealing with the joy of life. I post it on my social media page. I actually am prepared to post the Around Midnight clip on Instagram as well. And I was like, thank you. I was like, thank you to, and I put your name for just sharing this moment. I do have Treme Gumbo Fest is coming up this weekend at the historic Armstrong Park. It's going to be 2 festivals and one that's put on by the Jazz and Heritage Foundation. It's Congo Square Fest as well as Treme Gumbo Fest. So that takes place this weekend. I also have Jazz Fest coming up in May.
Right on.
May 8th. I also have my new single Feel Good is out. It's on all major streaming platforms, as well as all of my other music is out on all streaming platforms. And just have some great things in the work, preparing for this new Grammy season coming up, awards. And so just want to see some great things happening for women in music, women who are doing it and doing it boldly. And so thank you for just being able to let me share what I love, my passion for music, and to share my upcoming events and or whatnot. I mean, follow me, you'll see me. If I'm not in my classroom, I'm in the community, I'm on stage, or I'm in one of my favorite venues enjoying a good drink and some food.
All right. Thank you. And we'll definitely be there. And I'm going to ask you a favor before we close. Can you sing us out with the version of one of my favorite songs and one of yours, Careless Whisper?
Oh, I don't know the words. I just know I'm never gonna dance again. If it ain't got no rhythm. That's it. I just love the saxophone part. That's all. And then I got a package. But I want to get a photo. I just want y'all to know I want to get a photo of this moment.
Okay.
Wait, there we go.
All right.
And I will be posting that, of course, on Instagram and tagging you all.
All right, thank you. And on behalf of Streetwise Radio, signing off, this is Shelah T.D. Moody. Tonya gave me that new nickname, and thank you, Tonya, and Shaena, brilliant, sexy jazz women, for being with me today. I love you all. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.
See y'all later, guys.